Hanaki! Did you know that our souls are connected by fate? What do you know? Yuno Hanaki, the one and only Oiran from Yalun. Good evening. Good evening, good evening. I feel better. Those of you that were at stream earlier today, you know that I was quite tired when I ended. But I took a fat nap. Very, very fat nap. And it felt good. So I'm feeling a bit better now. I also had food, which picked up my energy a little bit. Wow, did you guys know that eating will actually help you wake up? That's crazy. It's almost like eating gives you energy or something. That's crazy. But yeah, I feel good. Better than I did at the very least. So yippee for that. So today we are going to be answering questions from Marshmallow. My marshmallow is pinned in the chat if you would still like to send some marshmallows. I saved all of the ones that came in, including the late ones that were sent in while I was on my loading screen. You think I wasn't checking my email to see those notifications? I see you. I've been keeping an eye on it. I'm paying attention. But I have saved all of the late ones that have come in. So, if you would like to still send tomorrow, you can. I'll probably do one more check after I get through the ones I've already saved. And then, if there isn't any more, then that'll be when we end the stream. Thumbs up. How many in total so far? Let me check the folder. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 23. There are 23. Yeah. So that's fun. I love that for me. Thank you for the questions. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people had lots of questions. And I figured I would open it up to the anonymous platform of Marshmallow because sometimes people don't want their names to be associated with their questions and they just want to send, you know, any old question. Okay. Yeah, I see a few more. Let me save these. So now we're at 25. Because 2 more just came in. I already have the first one queued up for us to like actually use. Also, when I'm answering these, they aren't going to be in any particular order. It's just gonna be however they're saved in my folder. I'm going across the line. So we'll just be answering the ones that I have as we go. Yes, yes, yes. Also, there was one person who sent a message that was like, I hope you realize that this Marshmallow account is still tied to your old Twitter, and I was like, oh shit, it is. So I fixed that. That one is not included in the messages that were in here, but I did see that in the sea of questions that came in, but thank you for pointing it out. I would have looked like a clown otherwise. Okay. Then I guess without further ado, we will start with the questions. This is still also just going to be kind of like cozy yapping time as is expected with a Yuno Hanaki stream, so do not fret. I will still chat with you guys in between answering questions. If anything, the questions are just a springboard. You don't look like one normally? What the heck? Can you be nice to me? I literally just started this stream. I'm giving you a chance to ask literally anything you want anonymously, and you're treating me like this? That's crazy. It's so crazy. Unordered, my poor marsh longer. It'll come up when it comes up. Don't worry about it. If anyone can fit in a clown car, it's all of you. You're even smaller than me. Every single one of you would be able to fit within one clown car. Don't even start with me. Anyways, first question. In a world filled of Oni, what will you do to rise above the rest? I assume this is asking what I think I would do to stick out among other Oni. I'm already pretty unique because there aren't a lot of half Oni in Onigashima. At least in my part of Onigashima. I stick out like a sore thumb. Because I'm probably the most human looking. Yeah, the most human looking, I would say. Everybody else is like full-on Oni vibes. So I already stick out just by nature of being a half Oni, as is. I guess I also stick out because I am a maiden. I am a very pretty lady. And I'm usually waited upon. There's a reason the other Oni tend to call me princess. Because I'm not very strong, so other people tend to have to do a lot of heavy lifting and stuff for me. Could also partially be because of my Oiron tendencies, but other people tend to do the work around me, and that kind of makes me stick out, because most Oni are more willing to do that kind of, like, physical labor, that side of things. And I also stick out because I read book good. A maiden Oiron, how does that work? It does. It does. That is all you have to know. I do not have to elaborate further. Book reader. Yeah, exactly. I read books. The rest of the Onis aren't nerds. Stop. Princess isn't always in respect. No, it's not always in respect. Sometimes you mean it in a joking way. Okay, next question. Did you know that Yuno is the VTuber Yuno Hanaki, the one infamous for her awesome series Onimon, but secretly Oni 2 wed thur fry sat? The one who attempts to differentiate the difference between canines and Ursidaes. The one who can easily wipe out Tomato Town in a single game without getting down in a solo game of Fortnite. The one who loves ingesting carbohydrates as it fuels her to get her writing Naruto x Harry Potter x Tales Yaoi Yuri fanfiction Paradise tasks done within a matter of minutes. The one who works tirelessly with love and care for Tamagotchi. Well, do you? Some of these were clearly jokes, by the way. Love you. I love you too. Don't mock me with tales of Oni fur. What do you mean mock? Is that because you want there to be an Oni fur? That's way too late in the week for it to even count. You get Oni Sun and you get Oni 2s. And then you had a singular Oni wed. Other than that, I don't usually go too far away from Monday in order to do a makeup Onimon. Also, it's very funny that this person listed every other day besides Sunday, even though Oni Sun is the most beloved version of Onimon. Anyway, this does pretty much sum up most of the in-stream jokes. I appreciate it. Although I don't really understand the Fortnite one, because I feel like I haven't really joked about Fortnite before. I can't believe that actually fit in the Maro. Maros actually do have pretty decent word count. You'd be surprised. Anyways. I guess I do know because that is me. If we're answering the question. And not just admiring the very much text. Character count, actually. I guess that's true. This was originally a Japanese platform. Okay. Next one. Oh, Oni of the Otome, what wisdom can you share? Well, since you're asking Oni of the Otome, I assume you are asking an Otome-related question. When you are playing an Otome game, and you are trying to go down a particular character's route, sometimes you are going to have to compromise your own personal morals and ethics in order to appeal to a man. But specifically only within Otome. One of my favorite characters that I went down a route for in Color X Malice, which I ended up not doing a stream on. I had intended to. I was planning to bring back Unavailable to talk about Color Malice because I had been super obsessed with it, but I kind of realized that Unavailable is probably best left for a video series. But anyways, one of my favorite characters in Color X Malice, there's a very pivotal choice you have to make pretty early in his route, and you don't realize that it has like super serious ramifications if you choose the wrong answer until you have to pull out a guide. Because basically what happened to me is I chose the answer that I thought made sense. And I was supposed to choose an answer that caters to what he is looking for in a woman, and not necessarily like the choice that like suits the character and like suits the situation. And sometimes that's just how it be. Sometimes you just have to make yourself appealing to the love interest that you are trying to go down the route of. Good old hammer turkey sandwich question. It was literally like, he asked if we thought that we had any sort of talent, and the options were either like cooking or something else. I can't remember what the other choice was. And I didn't answer cooking because I was like, well, cooking has nothing to do with what we're doing, because Collar Malice is like a crime thriller story. Kind of like a noir, not fully noir, but like it's like a crime thriller detective mystery type of game. You're investigating murders and shit. So I was like, why would I talk about my cooking skills in this situation? So I said something else. But apparently, fun fact, spoiler, I guess, if you wanted to pick up Collar X Malice, if you don't choose cooking there, because he wants you to be a good cook, because he can't cook, he's a boy failure in the kitchen, and he wants a woman who can cook for him. If you don't choose that you can cook, you will basically never get a good ending. You're like always gonna get a bad end with him. Depends which bad end, I guess, but you can never get a good ending with him. You like doom yourself if you don't say that you are good at cooking. And like canonically, Ichika, the heroine that we play as, is good at cooking, but it's very funny that you could screw everything up if you can screw everything up if you don't say that you're good at cooking in a question that does not feel in a conversation that does not feel related to cooking. So basically all of that is to say, when you are playing an Otome game, you are going to have to sacrifice your morals and your personal preferences if you want to actually date a boy sometimes. I mean, sometimes if you're lucky, your natural like inclination towards an answer will work, but there will definitely be other times where it does not work, and you'll have to sacrifice that in order to progress the route. But sometimes it's worth it. That boy is still my favorite. Even though I literally cannot cook, so technically my answer was a lie. It'd be like that. Okay. Next question. Pick a number between 5 and 10, and your prize will be revealed in live stream chat. Gasp. My prize? Number between 5 and 10. Let's go 8. Number 8, please. We will see, I guess, what the prize is. I remember that when I play it in 10 years. Will you remember? Is it penciled in for 10 years from now? I will set an alarm for May 6th, 2035 to remind you to play Collar Malice.
An offering. Thank you so much.
Wow, a number. Thank you for the $8 tip. Thank you. Interestingly enough, 8 was the first number that came to mind to me too. Yeah. I like the number 8. It's a good number. It's a good number. Congratulations, this new set of cutlery for all your cooking needs. Yay. I do actually need some new cutlery. Some of my cooking tools are starting to get a bit old. But it's also like my mom's stuff, so I guess it makes sense that it's a bit old. Okay. Thank you. Next one. You are stranded in a desert and you collapse to the ground. 5 minutes later, you wake up in a daze. As your vision comes back, you spot 2 signs. Fresh mountain spring water with free Keurig for use. Less 0.5 miles. Or Limbo Scott is tied up. You must save him. North 40 miles. Which path are you taking? Well, if it's 0.5 miles, I would go get water, and then I would double back to go save Limbo. Because that's not that far of a distance. If I'd be able to make it back to the sign in 0.5 miles after getting a bunch of water and the free Keurig, I would just take that with me to go after Limbo. Yeah, easy. You get it. You should have made the distance further. If you wanted this to be an actual dilemma, you should have made the distance further. The sign disappears after you drink the water. Well, 0.5 miles is still not that bad. I think I would figure out that distance within my brain, and then I would just start going north. And technically, even if I went north from where I was with the Keurig, I think I would probably still find Limbo. Because I would just have to go north for a while, and then I would just have to go a little bit east again, and I'd find him. It wouldn't be that hard. GG easy. Better luck next time. What would be your luxury purchase, assuming money was not a limiting factor for this one purchase? A house. I want a house. Specifically, I would want to buy a house that already was, like, completely paid off. It doesn't even have to be a big house. I just want a house that I can own so I don't have to keep paying rent. It would be nice to only have to worry about utilities for the rest of my life. If you want, like, a real honest answer. And unfortunately, houses are a goddamn luxury in Onigashima, so that's what I would want, a fully paid off house. I expect you to say a car. I can't drive. What use would I have for a car? I don't want to get a license either. I think I've mentioned this before, but like, I really don't think I would be a good driver. I do not think I should have a license to be on the road. I really, really don't. I really, really don't. Some people are just not meant to drive, and I think I am one of those people. I don't think I have the mental capacity for it. Like, you have to be aware of so many things at once, and when I have to think about too many things at once, I zone out, and like, I dissociate really bad. Like, personal reveal about my brain, I guess. I have really bad dissociation. So I would not be able to focus, and that would definitely cause me to get in trouble on the road more often than not. It wouldn't work for me. If you want the more goofy answer, I'm just so short, my feet wouldn't reach the pedals. Anyway. So no car. What's the room layout look like for my dream house? I guess having it be all one level might be kind of nice instead of like the way my current box is, where like most everything is on the upper level and the staircase is pretty tall. I don't know. I think I'd want like a modest sized living room, maybe like a kitchen with a kitchen island as the divider. I don't really need a dining room because I usually eat at my desk in my room anyway. I'd want a kind of big bedroom. So that way I could actually kind of section things off for like a sleeping area and then like a space for like a big desk. And my desk has like a hobby space and a streaming workspace. And then I'd want my bathroom to have a decent sized tub because I like taking baths. Not that I hate showering. I like showering too, but I find baths to be quite luxurious. So I would like to have a decent sized bathtub for bathing also. So that I could have, like, cozy bath time moments. I'm a very simple Oni. I don't really think I would need that much. Bath bombs are nice, too. You get me. I fucking love a nice bath bomb. There was one year for Christmas that was all I asked for. And so I got a ton of bath bombs that year, and it was great. I don't usually ask for things during Christmas, but my instinct then was just like, I want a bath bomb, please. And that was because in college, I had an apartment through my school that had a bathtub. So I wanted to be able to take bath bombs back with me and have some nice baths when I was dealing with the stress that was college. Love that shit. It's getting harder and harder to buy bubble bath. Seems like nobody sells it anymore. Like the formula stuff, the liquid that you shoot into the bath. I guess it's because people tend to think that bath bombs are better because it makes like pretty patterns in the water and stuff. But I do agree that it's not the same as having, like, bubbles. Ranch, large master bedroom, 5-piece master bath, make kitchen eat-in, no dining needed. Yeah. I could see that being nice. I haven't had a bath in so many years, my legs are too long. I also have kind of long legs. I can fit within my current bathtub, the bathtub in the box, but I think I'd like something a little bit wider, maybe. The length is fine, but I think the width needs to be a little bit bigger, because at the moment it still feels a little bit compact. But yeah, no, luxury purchase house. If you want something that's seen as less of an essential, maybe. New PC, maybe? My friend keeps telling me whenever I have computer issues, my friend keeps telling me that maybe some things would be offloaded if I had a two PC stream setup. And that feels very luxurious to me. Which I'm just like, I don't know if I need all that. I don't have the space for it right now, but maybe in some far off future, I would have like a 2 PC setup. That's why 5 piece separate shower and a big soak tub. Yes, I do agree with that. Having it be separated would be nice. Japan gets it. Mini ATXs exist? I suppose. I suppose. I still don't have room, though. You talk as if I still have room. I don't. Okay. Next question. What do you feel was your most embarrassing moment on stream? Most embarrassing moment? Have I ever fumbled the bag in front of somebody cool? I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think I've usually been, besides like gushing over somebody appearing, I don't usually fumble the bag like that. Embarrassing moment. The day Yuno dropped her first F-bomb? I don't even remember what stream that was in. I think I prepared you for when I was going to say fuck for the first time, and I don't think that was very embarrassing. Because I don't think I apologized either when I said it. I don't think that would be embarrassing. Thinking. There's gotta be something, but I've also streamed a lot despite only being active for like a year and a half. So it's kind of hard to fully remember. Streams that were embarrassing. Think. It's just words if you really think about it. The swearing? Yeah, that's why I said that it doesn't embarrass me. Letting a cuss slip out never embarrassed me. Because it was never super enforced. I don't know. I guess I kind of own my on-stream conduct. And I don't find things to be fully embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing that you think bears are dogs. No, that's you. That's a you problem. That's a Damadachi problem, not a me problem. I mean, because I'm a tough girl, I guess I could argue that I felt the most embarrassed when I like cried over stuff. I can't think of like a specific example. But I don't really like crying on stream. I don't mind expressing my emotions and being honest and vulnerable through my words, but I do not like being vulnerable as in like crying. Because even if I do mean it and I'm not like faking my crying, well, you can tell when I'm faking my crying. It sounds very obvious when I'm faking. When I actually cry, I don't like it. When I actually cry, it makes me feel like I'm somehow still manipulating people even when I'm not. I guess mostly because you can't see me, so I'm just like, what if they think I'm faking it? It's over. So like, that's kind of embarrassing. I guess. But I can't think of anything where I was actually just like, that was an embarrassing moment. Wait. Actually, I take it back. There was a really early Onimon where I did personality quizzes, and one of the questions that came up was a little bit of a shock because I hadn't pre-checked the quizzes. And I was like, oh no. But I like played it off pretty well. It was only embarrassing because I was like, oh god, people are going to assume things. Which is why I was desperately like trying to cover for it. I think I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't mind talking about it now. But that was still back in the early days and I couldn't... I felt like it was less easy to play with the boundary, I suppose. But anyway, it was a quiz about like romance. It was like a love quiz of some kind and it was asking my body count. Like how many times I've had sex or whatever. And I don't find the topic embarrassing to talk about usually, but it was because I was in a company where that sort of talk is frowned upon. So when the question came up, I was like, oh god. But I was still very genuine in my answer of 0. But nobody believed me. But nobody believed me. However, it was genuine. Ha version. I remember one of the questions didn't have a 0. It was because of like how many partners you've had, which was like separate from sex partners. I'm thinking of the question that was like, how many times have you had sex? And you guys are thinking of the partners question, which also did not have a 0. But it was like, how many partners have you had? And I was like 0. But the only option was like 1 to 5. So I had to choose 1 to 5, even though it wasn't accurate, because 1 was the lowest. And then you guys were like, well, what about in fanfic? And I was like, oh, well, in fanfic. And then I like clicked 20 plus or whatever the hell, because it was funny and is also very accurate. Because I read a lot of shipping fanfic. I read a lot of Character X Reader. So that's why that was funny. But yeah, no. I guess that was the most embarrassing, quote unquote, in that a topic came up that I wasn't sure if I could really talk about on a stream. So that was a bit embarrassing. I didn't really get chewed up by management afterwards or anything. Anyhow. Next up. What is the most unhinged Maro you've gotten? I can still believe they found it funny more than anything. Management didn't say anything at all, actually. I think the only people that said stuff were the other girls, but it was stuff unrelated to that particular question. They were lecturing about something else, to me, related to that stream, but I won't talk about it here. It's whatever. As for this, most unhinged Maro, so I never posted them because I've said this from the very beginning, ever since I opened my Maros, but I'm very good at just hitting the delete button when I get shit in my Maros that are nasty. But back in the shorts streaming era, so like about a year ago at this point, when I was still doing a lot of short streams regularly, there was a situation where there were some children in chat who were being really obnoxious towards each other and not paying attention to the stream because they were just arguing with each other. So in the end, I blocked both of them so they could stop fucking spamming chat with their nonsense. And one of those children did not like that I blocked him and kept sending me Maros that were like just really bad. Hold on, I think I actually still have the files because I sent them to someone. I have to search my messages really quick. But I got these fucking Maros from this kid who was like, how dare you ban me and my boys? You need to unblock us right now, you stupid bitch. I will get you fired from you company for block me. Why did do it? You block me. Unblock me right now. It was some shit like that. I have to see if I can find it. It was so fucking funny. I messaged Kawaii company and get you fired from you job. And I was like, yeah, you sure are, bud. I think that was the most unhinged example. Which... Oh no, did you get fired? Well, maybe he is why. But he sent me Maros like 4 times. And I just thought it was funny. So I would just read them, post it to my friend, laugh, and then delete the Maro. I was just like, what do you think you're going to do? What power do you think you have? He ended production, kawaii. He got me fired and he got everyone else fired simultaneously. All because I fucking muted his ass in my chat. So funny. So funny. Hold on. I swear, I know I saved at least one of these. I have to read it to you verbatim and you have to understand where I'm coming from. I have to have it somewhere. I think I'm close. Hold on. I have to have it somewhere. It's so funny. Here it is. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for this dramatic reading? I don't know if you are. Oh my god, sorry. I read the first sentence and I giggled again. Okay, him.
Okay, now listen, Beach. You think you could disrespect me and another dude and all my boys? Okay, listen, I'm very kind of you because I'm giving you the last chance to unbane me and apologize and regret. I will wait to your apologies and regrets for one more day, and after that, I'm reporting you to you managers and also FBI, CIA, MSN, NSA, FSB, and MI5, and you get you channel ban and you be IP tracked and arrested, and I'm no joking this time, Beach. You better apologize and unbane and regret. Do you ever just my fucking stomach hurts. This has to be a copy pasta. I don't think so, but it's just very funny. I'm shaking in my boots. I don't know. I said this to my friend and I was like, oh, I'm so scared. MI5, why the British getting involved? What are half of these agencies also? That had the same energy as the Navy SEALs copy pasta. All of them sounded like this. He was just getting so fucking mad that I hadn't unbanned him. Also, FSB, the Russians, I think he was just trying to scare me by saying every possible government entity that could track me down. You're laughing, but he's the one holding back your monetization. Yeah, he had the real contact with YouTube. That's why I couldn't get monetized. RIP. This is what I get for not unbanning him. But he had sent like a couple Maros before this. The first one I straight up just deleted because I was like, whatever. But then I got this one. So you unban me or no? I demand apology. This is your last chance to unban me, Beach. If you no unban me, I will report you and I dox you and I get fired you from Kawaii Company. So you better unban me and apologize and unban other person and my boys. That was the first one. And then he sent me the really long one where he was gonna report me to every agency ever. Surprised it's taking this long to get updates on your monetization. I've been checking, it's still processing my info. I'll let it take however long it needs if it's going to get approved. Who was his boys? I think that there had been other people in chat who were like trying to also be annoying, but I had banned them more quickly than I did him, perhaps. I don't know. I think maybe when he first got banned, he tried to get his boys to come in and they were like, unban him. And I was just bonking all of them at that point because I was so sick of it. I'm so glad I don't have to short stream anymore. Anyway. So I think those were the most unhinged Maros. I haven't really gotten, like, mean ones besides this. Like, this means nothing to me. The way this kid was just rambling,
he was just crashing out, and so I'm not really bothered by it. I have gotten Maros besides this that were also a little bit negative, but like never to the point where I've been like insulted. I've also never gotten weird Maros. As in, like, I've never really had anyone be particularly creepy towards me in my Maros either. I'm very grateful. I think I just kind of slip under the radar too much. And people just never really bother to be weird towards me. Maybe because I have such a I don't give a fuck attitude. I feel like people are just like, why would I waste my time? Because that's the thing. If you don't give them time and attention, they will not... They will, like, stop what they're doing and not care anymore. Because you're not entertaining them. So I think that's why I haven't really gotten that many weird Maros at all. People feed on reactions. Exactly. People send that stuff because they think you're going to react to it or because you're going to, like, answer it publicly or whatever. And I've already said this to you guys, but I don't like the idea of getting popular or, like, getting viral or whatever because I posted something negative. Even if it was me, like, dunking on a stupid Maro that I got. I don't want to give somebody that kind of spotlight. Even if they're anonymous. I just don't need that sort of like, no, you know, you're so amazing. Don't answer the message calling you a whore, you know? I don't care about that stuff. I just read it, laugh, and delete. I like how you say I can fix that and your first response is to talk about feet. Honestly, feet stuff is not that weird. Internet has way weirder. Anyway, thank you for the question. Next one. Also, I saw that I got a couple more. Actually, let me save those. She gave us the green light on feet. Fellas, she said feet are okay. Let's go. Fellas, she said feet are okay. As I'm just like, I didn't say that. I just don't think that they are the worst thing in the world. Sorry, my household is metric. Feed has looped back around to being normal and boring. I don't think boring is true either. I just think that, like, on the scale of unhinged interest, it's definitely not the most unhinged. Describe with 3 words or less an oiranchi piece you would like to see done. That's not one of my words. 3 words or less? Top dominatrix bondage. Yes. That'll do. That'll do. Okay, thank you for the question. She wants to be Mihara. Mihara is not a top. That's the thing people misunderstand. They think because she wears the bondage outfit and holds the whip that she is a top. She's not. She's a bottom. Uni is the top. Frick out of here with that. She's a mega bottom if Mihara is a top. I'm an astronaut. That's what I'm saying. Oh, Hanaki, welcome in, welcome in. But people fundamentally misunderstand because they see Mihara being in like the leather and the latex and the holding the whip and stuff, but that's because she wants to hurt herself. She uses the whip on herself because she's a masochist. Uni is a sadist and is also the top. Because Uni wants to inflict pain onto others because she can't feel it herself. People see mommy coded and think Dom, but she is M Supreme. I know! The misconception's crazy! But that's also what makes Mihara interesting as a character, because she has the misdirect. Speaking of Nikkei, will we see you stream it? I actually just streamed Nikkei for members last week. I played it for like an hour or so. Catching up on stuff I've missed. I haven't opened it up again in a couple of days because I've been distracted with other things, but I am slowly trying to get back into it, so maybe we will do more public streams eventually, but I kind of want to play catch up and do things on my own time, because you've seen other people react to the story by now, I bet. Don't necessarily need to see little old me do it. She's hurting herself with the whip on the new unit? Exactly! But people see her and they're like, yes, mommy, use it on me. And I'm just like, she wouldn't. She would be like, oh, you're interested in playing with me? And she would hand you the whip and be like, okay, do it. And then present herself. Like, that's the thing. Mihara isn't that great gameplay-wise either, kind of comparable to Modernia. I like Modernia's playstyle. That's because Modernia is my baby girl. I want to see you go away on Mermaid's event. Some people have opening Zatsus, Yuno can have opening Nikkei. I play Nikkei for 2 hours before I start every stream. Let's not get too hasty. Next question. If you were part of a women's wrestling tag team, which ex-kawaii member would you have as partner as babyface team? And which ex-kawaii member would you have as heel team? Babyface? I feel like me and Nano would probably be pretty good for babyface team. If I'm understanding it correctly, but via context clues. I don't know anything about wrestling. But that would be my guess. As for heels, it should definitely be Mamie and somebody else. I'm trying to think who would be good as a heel with Mamie. Maybe Kaya? I think those two would be like wild as heels. Babyface means good guys, heels are bad guys. Maybe Charlotte? No. I don't think Charlotte could actually be a bad guy if we're talking about heels in that sense. You just want someone else to look baby next to Mamie. But I think the duality of Mamie and Kaya working together would be pretty fun. And I think that they'd be good heels. Because Mamie is chaotic but methodical with it when she wants to be evil. I feel like she could be very manipulative. Kaya just does whatever the fuck she wants, and that's its own brand of chaos. Charlotte would be the ref that no one takes seriously. Be nice. I see what you mean, but be nice. Yuno and Kaya on opposing sides as things should be. I know how it goes. Enemies. Thank you for the question. This one. Have you ever gotten a heart from the emoto? Speaking of Charlotte. When you say gotten a heart, I guess that means like a like for something? Charlotte has liked my tweets on Twitter before. And also, I guess more so than like receiving a heart like the emote. Valentine's Day. She did send me a Valentine also. She likes all the time with the thumbs up. No, I'm talking about likes on Twitter, and likes are hearts. So that kind of counts. But, like, in terms of sending me an actual emoji, I don't think she has sent me a heart. But what I wanted to say is, when she used to do State of the Kawaii Union, whenever she talked about my stuff, she would always have, like, really glowing praise for me. And it always made me kind of happy because I really admire Charlotte. So I was just like, oh, she likes me. She's always said, like, genuine, nice things about me a lot. And that's always made me kind of happy. And to me, that matters more because, I feel like words of affirmation coming from Charlotte Suzu weigh like 5 times more than words of affirmation from anybody else. So every time she would have something like really like glowing to say about like either stuff that I made or stuff that I was doing behind the scenes, I would always kind of be really happy about it. If you don't know, Charlotte hearted Slack messages in the past, but then took them back and replaced with a thumbs up, so I'm assuming that's the heart they mean. Oh, she's only been doing thumbs up ever. She's only ever done thumbs up ever since, like, Hana Mizuki joined the Slack. We've never seen her give a heart for anything. Ever, ever. She might have given hearts in the past with, like, the rest of Ionia and Novamore, but by the time Hana Mizuki joined the Slack and everything, we never saw her give a heart. So no. In that sense, no. Even more than Isla? Well, Isla-sama is a bit different. With Isla-sama, it's a bit different. I feel like I'm a bit closer to Isla-sama than I am to Charlotte. So when Isla-sama compliments me, I know it's coming from like a place of friendship with her, which still means that it has a lot of value, of course. As somebody who relies on words of affirmation to express affection for anybody, getting it from anyone is really nice. But like, with Charlotte, because Charlotte is a lot more methodical, kind of, with how she chooses to offer her compliments, because, you know, she's very, very tsundere. Isla-sama is tsundere, but will still, like, express, like, affection and care for people behind the scenes. With Charlotte, it's, like, a lot harder to get her to express affection like that. So when Charlotte does give a compliment, I feel like it weighs more, comparatively. Obviously, getting compliments from both make me very happy, because I admire them both. But there's something special about the Charlotte Suzu flavor. Because I feel like it comes from a completely different place of, like, respect and admiration. Getting words of affirmation from Isla-sama is like getting words of affirmation from a good friend. So it's still appreciated, but it's a different kind of flavor. Senpai's like this, yay. Charlotte likes this, screenshot, print, duplicate, print, laminate, and add to binder. I do actually have a lot of screenshots of times that Charlotte has talked about my projects on Kawaii Union Address, because of the times that she would gush over it. Because I watched the Kawaii Union Address all the time, so anytime she would mention my stuff, I'd be like, oh, she likes me. She'll never say that, but she likes me. I do have more screenshots of Charlotte complimenting me than I do of, like, some other people complimenting me. But I do save a lot of the compliments that I get from my senpai, because my love language is words of affirmation, so getting words of affirmation from people I don't usually get it from makes my heart swell up. That's also probably why you heard me combust so much during my birthday call-ins. Even back when I was only calling with Kawaii talents, and then, you know, when I did my big 12-hour one, getting the direct words of affirmation from people that I like was like short-circuiting my brain. Short-circuiting the pleasure sensors in my brain because it was just making me so happy. This just became a big old rant about how much I like words of affirmation, but to answer the direct question, Charlotte was way past the giving hearts to things era by the time Hana Mizuki joined Kawaii. I wonder if this is okay to say, but even when Ranchan's graduation was, like, posted in the Kawaii Slack, I think Charlotte still only gave a thumbs up to that. So, you know, It's, that's just how she has been since we have known her. So I have never seen the Hearts to Messages era. Anyway, thank you for the question. I would expect nothing less. 100 Damadachis versus 1 Yuno. Who wins? Depending on which Damadachi it is. Let's just assume that it's like an even division between the 4 colors. The 4 main colors, I guess. Orange for Patreon doesn't entirely count because Patreon is where all memberships currently are. Yuno, because we could never harm Yuno. I guess that's fair. When I characterize the Damadachi, I always assume that they could be like, that you guys could mess with like other people, but there's always like a deep respect for me. You do still tease me, but you would never like harm me. Meanwhile, I would easily gather you into a ball and throw you. Oranjidachi is the strongest. He's like Iki from Saint Seiya, the strongest but only appears occasionally. Oranjidachi is like the annoying little brother who like passes off as just being a kid, but then he suddenly becomes super serious in serious situations and can kick your ass. I'd possess a table to stub your toe on. Man, that's messed up. Also real. I guess you could cause minor inconveniences that only cause slight harm. But the point is that the Damadachi could probably never, like, fully harm me. It is not in your DNA. Physical or digital games? It kind of depends. I'm sorry, that's such a wishy-washy answer. Most of the time, I get PC games, which means that they are digital. But for Switch games, I do actually prefer to have Switch games physical. The only time I get digital games for the Switch is if it's never going to get a physical release or if it's an Otome. Some Otome do have physical releases, but I don't want to wait for them to ship to me. So usually when I want to play an Otome, I just settle for the digital download. But like for bigger games for the Switch, I will get physical games. I have like a physical collection of games. But like for most other gaming that I do, which is primarily PC gaming, it's all digital, baby. PRB suggesting a CD BD driver on Throne. Okay. I've been wanting to get one anyway because there's so many CDs that I want to get that have instrumentals for songs I want to cover. So if I could have a CD drive, I could finally get some off vocals, which would be very epic and slay for me. I won't say no. Thank you for the question. Better question, how many of the 100 Damas do we lose getting through Puntable and PhD? PhD is the one who you would fight first, and she would kind of get tired out really quickly. You'd maybe lose like 10 to 15 at most if you were fighting her. Puntable would be able to take out like 60 of you. By the time you get to me. But that's because Puntable would just become a sheer force of energy. What kind of energy? I don't know. But energy, nonetheless. How much would a Yuno know if a Yuno could know you know? Honestly, in an ideal world, I would love to learn a lot of things. I would like to be knowledgeable on a lot of topics, if I could. I love learning, genuinely. So that's why I like reading a lot of books, and I like, just learning new stuff. So for me, I would like to learn a lot of things if I could. Currently, I do not have the brain capacity, but someday. Oh, more Maros. Someone really wants to know about wrestling. I'm afraid I don't have answers for you though, friend. I'm saving these to answer later, but... My goodness. Okay. A serious answer to an unserious question. I wasn't wanting this to be a super goofy Q&A. I wanted to answer kind of seriously to stuff. Okay. Thank you for the question. Next one. In one of your earliest Q&As, you defined unicore fashion as a bit of a mix of dark academia and cottagecore, I think. Yes, I'm pretty sure I described it that way. Has that changed at all since? Any aesthetics you feel more or less drawn to? What makes the ideal Yuno fashion? Oh boy. My eye for fashion is different from what I would personally wear. If you are asking about, like, things that I feel suit me, I'm usually talking about things that I think would look good on the VTuber. That would look good on the model. My sense of fashion, I have an eye for things that I wouldn't necessarily wear in real life. I think I've explained this before a little bit, but I dress much more tomboy in my everyday life. I, like, never wear skirts or dresses. I really only wear, like, jeans, and, like, shorts and, like, that kind of vibe. And then, like, t-shirts. I like overalls and suspenders in, like, my casual clothing. I also like that in, potential clothes for a model, too. One of my thoughts for an outfit when I was still in kawaii was going to involve overalls, but it didn't happen. But I have certain aesthetics that I am drawn to that I wouldn't necessarily wear myself. I use VTubing as a way to kind of explore more feminine fashion, because it's just something I feel like I could never ever wear. I live vicariously through Yuno. Dark academia and cottagecore do still really appeal to me. I like them both quite a bit. Cottagecore has a lot of, like, pale, muted colors, a lot of neutral tones, but also, like, very pale pastels as, like, a complementary color. Quite good. And then Dark Academia is, like, knowledgeable, like, kind of preppy clothes, lots of, like, dark colors. Dark, rich colors, specifically. Overalls. Yeah, I really like overalls. I love wearing them. I think I said this before, but Onimama used to make fun of me for it because she would call them my bibs, and I'd be like, they're not bibs. It's just overalls. I think they're cute. I just feel really cozy in them. Any aesthetics you feel more or less drawn to? I have been opening up my mind to more, like, Lolita-style stuff. I see Mimi talk about Lolita a lot. Some of the other girls like it, too. I really like OGK, which is the more, like, masculine, kind of, like, princely version of Lolita. So it's where girls dress up a little bit more boyish. I like that style a lot. I had really wanted to do an OGK outfit in kawaii as well. That was when I first had the discovery that there was a chance that I might not be allowed to. The lore was, or at least the assumption from my manager was, going to be that it was going to be difficult to get Hana Mizuki to have outfits that were anything except Japanese inspired, because we were a very strongly Japanese themed unit. So there was a chance that they weren't going to let me and Kaya really experiment too much with certain styles. Like, we pretty much always have to do things that had a Japanese tone to it, which I guess I don't really mind, but I do like a lot of Western style fashion too, so I remember being kind of bummed about it. My manager was still trying to, like, find options and was, like, showing me options that were OGK but had, like, that Japanese theming. But I was, like, still emo because I wanted, like, Western OG. But I kept getting suggestions for Japanese OG because my manager just thought that it would be difficult to convince them to let me do anything that wasn't Japanese themed. OGK is cute. I think you'd look cute in that style. Thank you. I agree. I love OGK. And OGK also goes back to things like suspenders and like boy shorts and like cute little suit jackets and things. They also wear a lot of like berets. I really like hats and berets and things. So I like that vibe too. Or little like top hats and stuff. Those headbands with the top hats on them. I could be a fancy little like Victorian boy. But I'm really drawn to OGK specifically when it comes to Lolita. I do like some pastel Lolita stuff too, but OGK, my beloved. I'm thinking of other fashion styles in my head. I don't know. I guess, like, instinctively, that's what came to mind the most in terms of, like, things that I like. Clearly need the baseball, you know? Uniform shorts, jersey top, spiked bat. Most baseball teams wear pants, but I get what you're saying. High-waisted pants, tucked-in shirts. Ponytail through the back of the ball cap. One of those golf hats with open top. Yeah. So I guess we're kind of leaning towards like OGK and also like sports clothing. Sporty stuff. Leaning into that tomboy vibe. Most baseball teams also do not use spiked bats. Oh, sorry, I'm too used to Onigashima baseball. The spiked bats made sense to me because that's how they do it in Onigashima. Anyway. I hope that answers your question. Is this a spoiler for 2.0? No. Not even close. Pants for playing, but wife is required for team photo. I see. Makes sense. I would probably be forced to the front of the team photo because I'm tiny. Anyway. Are there any games you really want to stream but haven't had a chance to get around to for one reason or another? So many. There's actually quite a few. I don't want to have too many series going at once. So I try to keep a split between series that are ongoing and then like one-off games. But then the problem is most of the other games that I want to start playing would probably also be series. So we would have a lot of game series going at once if I had no self-control. Because I like long story-based games. I have a few games that I bought during one of the... I think it was both the summer and the winter sale that we still haven't picked up that I want to play because they seem like they would be fun. Some that are like visual novel-esque, some that are like JRPGs. I keep saying we have other JRPGs that we're going to get to after Grace's, but I don't know how much longer getting through the Grace's storyline is going to take. And then also Okami. Okami is going to take a while. So it will be interesting to see how we do with that. I've been thinking about changing the time for Okami to be a bit earlier so that I can try and get through it faster by having more hours to dedicate. But I'm not sure, because doing streams like the Grace's stream do take me out. I feel like if I had another stream that was about equally as long, I would probably pale-ish. But the short answer is yes. I am always thinking about games that I want to pick up and start playing on stream. Sometimes when I get a new game in general, I think about if it would make good content in some way or another. I'm always thinking about it. I do have a lot of games that I kind of keep to myself, but when it comes to getting new games, sometimes in the back of my head, I'm just like, can I use this for content? Can I justify this as a business expense and then make content out of the thing that I have purchased? It's also just like, I want to be able to branch into other categories of things so that way there's a bit more variety in my variety stream lifestyle. So we will see. If you keep going at it, I wish you can probably finish Grace's by the end of May or early June. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I will work hard. I think I can get through it relatively soon. And then that will leave a slot open for a new long play thing. That is the current thought. We will see. I don't think it'll take that long. Thumbs up. I choose to believe. We manifest this for me. Okay, next question. Did you officially adopt Puntable? Is her name officially Puntable Hanaki? Her name is Puntable. She does not have a last name. She does not need a last name. She is a gremlin that appears out of a portal occasionally for PhD to babysit. No, we do not know where she came from. We do not know if she has parents from this portal that she keeps traveling in and out of. We don't really know anything about her besides the fact that her name is Puntable. And that she is a menace. Mononyms are cute. I think I've told you guys this before, but I initially was going to have a mononym instead of having a last name. Management had suggested it. But then we ended up deciding it might be difficult for searchability if I only had a first name. Miss Puntable. That is not her name. The Fiona? No. Fiona had been an option for an English name. Same with Belle. But initially when we had been talking about, like, names, management was like, a lot of Oni only have one-word names. So if we could find, like, one word that could be your name, that would be really good. I think I've said this before, but it was going to be Yunon, which was going to be connecting sound. Because I was going to do a lot of, like, sound-related content, singing, voice acting, yada yada. But they didn't like how Yunon sounded because they thought the N would be hard to pronounce. The N at the end would be hard to pronounce for English speakers. So they axed it. And then brought up the idea of just being Yuno. And I was like, I'll consider. But we were thinking about how just being Yuno might lead to some searchability issues. Even if it was Yuno Kawaii or something, there's no way that there would be free usernames that just had Yuno. So instead, we decided to come up with a last name. Plus, management had really wanted me to use the kanji for Oni in my name. They just really, really wanted that for me. So it allowed for space in my last name to be Hanaki. Although I will say, I was also thinking about being Miki. The mi for beautiful, and then the ki for Oni. I had thought about that being my name too. But I was like, Miki probably also has been taken by a lot of people. There's unfortunately an adult game that had come up in a search for Yuno. Oh, I'm sure. An adult game, and then there's also Yuno Gasai, who shows up all the time when I'm looking for Yuno gifs on Twitter. There's a lot of things that would appear if it was just Yuno. So again, that's the whole reason we said the searchability would be an issue. Mike, no. Miki. It would have been it would have been romanized, I should say, not localized. It would have been romanized as M-I-K-I if I had done that. Miki. Miki. It was really close to happening. Yuno correcting to Yukon to filter... No, Yunon correcting to Yukon to filter the Alaska and Canada pros. Yeah, I mean, Yunon, I think, might have been pretty good. Like, Yunon channel, I think could have been fun, but in the end, searchability was the thing we had been thinking about. Yeah, Miki. That had been the thought. I like the name Miki a lot. I don't know if I would have had a last name in that instance, though. I'm not sure. Also, when I had been coming up with names on my own time, after I had gotten my character, I came up with names because we had a separate meeting to discuss naming. One of the names I had been thinking about was actually on management's, like, pre-selected list, and so we almost went with it because it was on both of our lists. But it was actually the name I was planning to give to the Ron model if I had gotten the samurai. But when I saw it on there, I was like, I wonder if that's a sign I should go with it. But it probably wouldn't have happened. Tsukihamiki? No, no, no. The name that had been on my list and also on management's was Ageha. Because a lot of old-timey Japanese names have the ha suffix. So I could have potentially been Hanaki Ageha. But in terms of names that are pronounceable, I think Ageha would have been a lot harder for people to pronounce. We were trying to, like, cater to the fact that it was primarily an English-speaking audience. Classic old-fashioned Oiran. Yeah, exactly. They really wanted me to have a more old-fashioned name. Yeah, it would. Yeah, you'd see it written out and you'd be like, age, huh? How do you say that? Age, huh? Who? What is that? But no, Ageha could have been an option. Ageha was the one that I had in mind for the Ron model. Reminds me of Agatha. No! But you're right that it has that same vibe of being, like, old. Old. But in the end, I still think that choosing Yuno Hanaki is the best move. It flows off the tongue really well. Kind of like how people don't pronounce Abe right. Yeah, they just see it and think Abe. That probably would have happened to me for sure. Anyway, this is a bit of a tangent. I am happy that I am Yuno Hanaki. I don't think I would have it any other way. But there are alternate universes where I was Ageha, where I was Miki, where I was Belle, where I was Fiona. But I am here, and this is the universe that we are in. I'm happy you're Yuno Hanaki. Thank you. I'm happy too. Okay, next question. So yesterday we talked about VTuber graduations and such. We sure did. What do you think of what do you think if viewer graduations were a thing? Like people saying I am done watching VTubers or this VTuber in particular. So this does already exist. Maybe not to the same wide scale that people think of when they think of VTuber graduations, but I have seen other VTubers react to audience members telling them that they are kind of graduating from watching the VTuber. And I have had a viewer or two also say that they are graduating from watching me. Either in a very mean way of being like, I'm tired of watching you, I'm not gonna watch you anymore. Or being like, here are XYZ reasons why I'm not gonna be able to watch you anymore, goodbye. But there have been cases of like people sending really long maros or like long messages to their previous Oshis being like, I cannot watch you anymore, I have to move forward in my life, something, something. And sometimes it's more negative, and sometimes it's kind of intended to be more of a like self-improvement thing. But it does exist. Watching VTubers is hopefully a much smaller part of a person's life than being a VTuber. It doesn't generally make sense to announce a departure. I tell them I find that to be really weird. I agree. I don't really think I'd want to be told. It's always kind of like, especially if it's being said in a stream, it always kind of throws me off. Like that idea of wanting to derail an entire stream to be like, by the way, I'm leaving. It makes me feel weird. Like, why would you spend time doing that to somebody? It kills the mood, not just for the rest of the chat, but also the streamer, because now the streamer has to take time to be like, okay. Because it'd be weird to not say anything in that instance. But like this does exist. Like this concept exists. I guess if you were sending a message to somebody, that's one thing. Like if you were sending it via Maro or whatever, I think that's like fine, I suppose. But also, while I do, I'm gonna figure out how to word this. I want to announce that I will graduate from watching you while I'm eating and instead just watch you like any normal person would. You cannot consume a media without eating something. Do not lie to me. But no, what I wanted to say is, to me, I value you guys and I recognize you individually, like by your usernames, your icons, the things that you have said about yourselves. But also, at the end of the day, there is a barrier that will probably never be crossed, and that is where, like, I will feel... Don't take this the wrong way. Please understand that I'm saying this from, like, the outlook of a professional. While I would be sad if I didn't see certain names popping up in chat anymore, my focus is always just going to be on the people that I still have. Do you get what I mean? Like, I obviously very much value you while you are here, but I also am not afraid to let people go if they want to go. I don't necessarily have to be told it. I will be sad nonetheless, whether I'm told or not. But it's not like... I wouldn't let a viewer leaving, like, shatter me, I suppose. Because I've always had this mindset of, like, it's not my job to force you to be here and never let you go anywhere else. Like, my goal always is going to be entertaining for the people that are here. I think the only time I would actually have any sort of, like, sadness over somebody leaving would be if I was alone. Like, if every other viewer that I had left and the last person that was here decided they were also going to leave, that would probably be the one time I'd be impacted, because at that point I'd be streaming for no one. But as it stands right now, I want to prioritize the people that are still here. And I am happy for any time that you spend with me. That's why I always include that in my outro. I'm happy you chose to take a few hours out of your day to spend it with me, out of all the other VTubers in the sea. Because I know there's plenty of other VTubers in the sea. Some are better, some are just like providing a different service. And that's something that I understand intrinsically. So like, I don't know. I think you are allowed to graduate from watching a VTuber. But I also think it'd be weird if you were mentioning that, like, publicly that you were gonna stop watching a certain VTuber. Like, imagine if you didn't even peg me, but you just announced on your own personal Twitter that you are graduating from watching Yuno Hanaki. Like, what's the point in that? Who cares? I don't think anyone cares about the VTubers that you're watching like that. That's 100% understandable. Instead of being stuck because one user doesn't appear anymore for A or B reason, it's better to focus on what you have right now because you stream for the people that are. Yeah, exactly. Like, part of me is always a bit sad, like, oh, this person who had been a regular is gone now. I wonder if I did something wrong. But at the end of the day, it's only for like a moment. And I will always focus on the people who are here. And it's not even like a comparison of like people who are here either. It's just a, I like you, I'm glad that you're here. I will enjoy the time that you're here until you are no longer. And even then, the memories that we had when you were here will still matter to me. But the internet is constantly growing and changing, and I feel like it would be unfair to have an expectation that people would be here forever. I joke about it all the time, but I think it's important to understand that, like, things that we claim are forever will not actually be for forever. I have a very transient outlook with relationships like that as well. I enjoy the moments that I'm friends with people while we are, like, present with each other. And then if a friendship, like, leaves, somebody, like, parts to go somewhere else, I'm just like, okay, I value the time that we had, but I don't think it would be right of me to fight to try and bring something back that isn't meant to come back. Streamer, love me more. Streamer, notice me. Streamer, if you find this annoying, it's a you problem. Streamer. Literally. But that's just me. I have this very transient outlook with relationships as well as with, like, online stuff. I just think that people grow and change and things shift. Priorities will differ eventually. But we get to enjoy the moments that we have now together. And I think that that's important. I feel this way about VTuber graduations too. Enjoy the time that you have with them while they are in that space. Paths will recross if paths are meant to recross. But I don't know. Forcing it just has always felt strange to me. Anyways. I think there are better uses for a user's time than to like announce that they are done watching a particular streamer. I guess if you wanted to say you're done watching VTubers, that's one thing. But making it personal about one specific VTuber is where it's weird. I'm graduating as a Damadachi. Then I see you in a different chat, like, the next day, and I'm just like, I see. Did the other VTuber ask you to commit? Did the other VTuber ask you to stop watching other VTubers? That would be my thought. But anyways. Thank you for the question. It's very thought-provoking. It made me think about those instances I saw of people, like, announcing that they were gonna stop watching their streamer and how I felt about it. That'd be so annoying. It really do be like that. It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's my other Oshi. Sorry, Everydama, got a smoking hot girlfriend who gets real jealous of Yuno. All of us are just like, boo, you got a girlfriend, boo! As I'm just like, actually, I don't think your girlfriend is jealous of me. I think your girlfriend wants me carnally. Come over here. You think I'm gonna be sad you're leaving? I'm just gonna try to steal your girlfriend. I'm joking, by the way. I would never actually steal your girlfriend. Miss Cecilia girl. Didn't know you're into NTR. How many times have we joked about me sitting in the chair? You know, would rather just watch. Don't expose me like this. Sure, you wouldn't. Hey, we have to raise the percentage from 2% somehow. The Dominachi is not leaving because the girlfriend is jealous. He's leaving because Yuno would steal the girlfriend. You get it. You get me. I like the confidence. I just have to find a GF to try this. Yuno putting Damadachi in the chair. We're silly. We have fun here. Okay, next question. Someone let it leak that you work for Namco Bandai, so you know all of the Tales secrets. So what is the secret? Tales of Fantasia remake? New Tales? Genia remastered? What do you know? For the sake of clarity, this was just a joke just to make a you know pun. I have knowledge of many things, but in all actuality, it seems like the thing that they are planning is going to be an Abyss remaster, similar to what they did with Grace's F. Based on what we know, what I know, what I am BU knowing, it seems like it's probably going to be an Abyss remaster similar to what they did for Grace's F. Hopefully that means a lot of optimization as well, because I think the optimization for Grace's F was really solid. I think if they did something like that for Abyss too, that would be even better, and it would make Abyss a really good playing experience. They are also going to have a Legendia focused event in July because Legendia is turning 20. Sorry, I'm coughing up dust because I'm old. But Legendia is turning 20 in July. And it's going to have a majority of the main Legendia cast there for the event. So I'm crossing all of my fingers and toes they're going to announce something there. I will take literally anything for Legendia. I'll take an anime. I'll take a movie. I will take, I don't know, redone cutscene project. I don't fucking care. I need something else from them, please. I desire it carnally. I still find it weird they're going for Abyss first instead of Zillia. I guess because Abyss is like older. I I do think that Zilia would have been nice to see after Grace's, but people like Abyss a lot. And a lot of people have complained about how Abyss has only gotten its attention when it was ported to the 3DS, which is a terrible port, by the way. Bit crushed Luke von Fabre by him, oh beloved. But I think having it be HD and on PC would be really good for Abyss likers. Zilia, my love, I know. I really fucking want Zilia to get a remaster as well. Getting a fresh upgrade and then the optimization stuff that Grace has got, I'd love that. And I'd love to have an excuse to play Zilia again. You guys will really see my brain rot then. There is a yaoi in that game that I am just like chomping at the bit. Things I desire carnally. All of that is to say, to answer the question, it seems like it's going to be an Abyss remaster. So be on the lookout for that. Although I wouldn't be surprised also if they decided to do something to give an homage to Tales of Fantasia. Here I am triple dipping for another copy of Abyss. I love that for the Abyss likers. Asbel and Richard earlier whetted your appetite. The thing is, the F part of the game is super fan servicey, even if I feel like it's breaking character for a lot of the main characters. Like, why do they suddenly care about Malik's love life? Why are they like, yeah, Captain, you're so old. Why haven't you found a nice girlfriend yet? Like, that just feels very out of character for Asbel. Like, I don't entirely know how I feel about it. I get that they're doing it so that they have an excuse to talk about the relationships that they're trying to like pander with in F, but it's weird how much they're focused on relationships. However, I will say that despite the fact that they are obviously pushing Asbel and Sharia, they are giving a lot of fuel to the people who like Asbel and Richard. So thanks, game. Very cool. What was it that Beep Beep said earlier? It was something like they had like 2 years between Grace's and Grace's F to look at Pixiv and see what was popular. That does definitely feel like what happened. Is that a positive or negative? Who's to say? But no, I do really like Asbel and Richard. They're very good. I care about them. Okay. Sorry, I am saving a couple of images because I got more Maros in the time between I have been yapping. The yappening. There we go. Marketing 100 with that. I believe someone showed the devs Tumblr circa 2009 and saw all the Richard Asbel art. They've been giving a little bit of fan service to the Richard and Asbel shippers. However, it does seem like they are going to make Endgame be Asbel Sharia, and I guess I'm not mad. I do love childhood friend relationships. And like, I've said this while I was playing too, for those of you who haven't been watching the Graces playthrough. I do think Asbel and Sharia are cute. So I'm not mad that they're going to be Endgame. It's just like, I see the signs in Richard. If they try to shove Richard with a random woman, I would just be like, you cannot lie to me. You cannot lie to me. I know for fact that even if Richard does not get with Asbel, he's never going to find love. If he doesn't get with Asbel, Richard's just going to give up on romance entirely. He's just gonna focus on being a good king. He will maybe have like a harem of women specifically to sire an heir, and then the minute he has a son, he is not going to copulate anymore. And that's just how it be. You can lie to me all you want, Bamco. Okay. Thank you for the question. Hold on. I think some of these saved weird. I just can see Asbel's kid having a Richard plushie. He has the merch. You're so right. Ah, okay. I'm trying to figure things out. My folder's gone a bit weird looking. There we go. This one. What would Yuno perfume smell like? Bellflowers, probably for sure. I think also you would get a hint of like old book smell. Like parchment paper. I feel like would be a good one for a Yuno scent too. Maybe like an undertone of like something kind of woodsy, like nature focused. No, actually not woodsy. Ocean, because I really like the smell of like ocean scents and like salt water. A wild card would be Bobitsa. Shut up. Bobitsa didn't even have a smell. It just smelled like pizza. Smells salty then? A little bit. Salty, a little bit sweet because of the bellflowers. The bellflowers are the main scent. But I could also see something with like parchment paper smell. Sea salt instant ramen, ew. If we want to take away the salt flavor, the salt scent, if we don't want it to smell salty, maybe like a linen scent then. Something that just reminds you of being inside and cozy, reading a book. So like bellflower, parchment paper, some sort of like fresh linen smell. Something that reminds you of like clean laundry. Or like a linen bed sheet. Yes. Thank you for the question. This one. If someone would like to get you a game, how would they do so? Not even just to stream, but because they think you'd like it. I've said this before. I feel like somebody really wants to buy me a game and just hasn't figured out how to do it. You will probably want to get it via Steam, but like specifically through a service that would let you buy a Steam key. There are a few places that'll do this, like Humble Bundle and like other websites. It'll allow you to buy the game and it generates a key so that you can redeem it on a Steam page. But instead of you redeeming the key, you would send the key to me via Marshmallow, and like give it to me that way. I suppose the other option would be that you find a listing for the game somewhere and then suggest it to me on Throne. Like if you want to buy a physical copy of the game. And then you send it to me that way. But keep in mind, I do not have any console besides the Switch. So you'd have to get a game that was on the Switch if you wanted to do it that way. Because Throne is a bit weird when it comes to getting digital games. It is possible, but it's weird. The same applies to Nintendo games. I know that Humble Bundle does digital Nintendo games. Oh, nice. PlayAsia starting a quasi-throne thing too. I think I saw that. The thing with PlayAsia though is that it still relies mostly on imports, and imports are expensive. So I'm not suggesting that. Not right now anyway. But that would be the best way to do it currently. I think that's how other girls have done it. Like you just send Steam codes to Maro. But, like, include more text in it besides just the codes that it doesn't get filtered by accident. Don't just send me a random string, and because otherwise Morrow might filter that as spam. Or, you know, you could also just donate the amount that the game costs. Tell me what game you want me to use it on, and I will buy it myself. If you think that that would be easier than trying to find a Steam code for it somewhere. I know I said this before, but it took me way too long to figure out that Pam was the PlayAsia mascot CEO. Yeah. Miss Obake Pam. And she works so hard to get VTubers opportunities to work with PlayAsia as well. I love her. She's very kind. Super hard worker, also fellow lover of Otome. I like her. Thank you for the question. This one. Not gonna lie, I thought your Morrow was a myth because I couldn't find it. Now I can start sending Morrows. Hi, Yuno. Can I has the keys, please? No. You cannot have the keys. Thank you for the question. I do not remember the order of where I was. One second. I have to open the folder on my side so that I can actually, like, look at the messages more clearly. Okay, I figured out where I am. I think we're almost done, actually. Sorbet or sherbet? Definitely sorbet. $500, this is known. This is true. I did receive a donation for $500 and then I jingled my keys on stream for like 6 minutes. So if you want more key jingling, you know the price. You know what must be done. But anyway, yes, my answer is sorbet, particularly lemon sorbet. Lemon sorbet goes hard. I love lemon sorbet. Yum, 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 yum. I had ice cream earlier, but now I kind of want lemon sorbet. Don't tempt them. Hey. My channel, my rules. My channel, my rules. Thank you for the question. Beep beep. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 looks really good, and as a turn-based RPG with an emotionally driven story, I think you would like it. If you were gifted a Steam key, would you play it? Yeah, I'd play it. I have seen a lot of people, like, raving about how good it is. I'm kind of curious. And at the very least, I would give it a one stream try to play it with you guys, and then if we like it, I'd keep streaming it, but if I liked it and you guys didn't, or vice versa, I just wouldn't stream it after that. That game is taking over? Mm-hmm. Speaking of earlier when I was talking about how management really wanted me to play trending games, I'd be willing to try this one. So yeah, if you wanted to gift a Steam key, I'd be all for it. I'd be like, yippee, game. I have to say I'm surprised the game is as popular as it is. The people crave turn-based RPGs, they just don't realize it. People do not realize how good turn-based RPGs can really be. The game seems to be parry heavy too, so that can be something to watch out. I mean, figuring out parrying is not hard, it's just me whining about not being good at parrying. Any game? Almost any. Obviously, we have to care about YouTube terms of service, but I am open. I am learning to like new genres of things. And yet Trails has been existing for years. Yeah, I know a particular VTuber who really wants people to play Trails. Things for the question. Would you rather have the power to bring extinct species back to life or prevent future species from going extinct? I think it would be better to prevent future species from going extinct. But being able to pick the species is the most important thing. Because at this point, certain species that have already gone extinct, as sad as it may be, I feel like it's because the current environment would not be able to support them. So even if they could come back from being extinct, there's no guarantee that they would be able to survive in the existing climate. Both in terms of, like, temperature and also just, like, overall environment quality as well. But if I could prevent current animals from going extinct, like ones that are vital to, like, what's it called? The ecosystem. The cycle of the ecosystem. Then I would protect. But if the future species go extinct, then the first power could bring them back. I mean, I suppose, but, like, you'd have your hands full. Also, I think you'd just become a necromancer at that point. I think I'd rather prevent loss of life than have to resurrect things that have died. Because you wouldn't be able to help those species until they were confirmed to be extinct. And it takes a long time for a species to leave being endangered to being extinct. Well, it used to. The way the Earth is now, maybe it wouldn't be as long anymore, but... it does still take time. Okay. Number 1 son and number 1 daughter. Dream husbando and waifu. Are you asking me my dream family dynamic? Me, my husband, my wife, my son, and my daughter. Okay, well, number 1 husbando is Limbo. Limbo very quickly climbed the ranks in my heart and is like number 1 tried and true. I would probably choose him above anybody else, and there are a lot of characters that would shock people to hear me say. Number 1 waifu is a lot harder. Not to say that I am pickier with women, I just don't really think of a lot of women as my wife. That's not usually what I choose when it comes to, like, expressing my affection for fictional women. I'm puzzling through. I'm going through my Rolodex of women. Only Ron. No, only Lynn. Lynn is my wife. But also, wife is different from waifu. Do you get what I mean? Waifu has a whole different vibe. Let's think. Waifu, 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 waifu. It's really hard. Most of the time when I have a best girl in a series, it ends up being someone who's, like, daughter-coded. I don't usually like characters that I feel are waifu material. I usually like girls who are my daughter. It's a lot easier to pick daughter than it is wife. So I guess I will skip to daughter then. My number 1 daughter would be Sakura Kinomoto from Cardcaptor Sakura. She is just the perfect child. She would be my angel. And I would love her tenderly. Because she deserves it. That is a baby. Baby bird. Number 1 son? Number 1 son. I call so many characters my son. Real crisis I have been presented here. Number 1 son. Lloyd? No. Lloyd's a good kid, but I don't know if he would be #1 son. That's the thing. I just said this, but a lot of characters I refer to as my son. Just like how there are a lot of characters who I say are my daughter. Son. Maybe... Oh, this is so tough. I'm suffering. I forgot who's the bad guy in Grace's. Lambda? I don't think Lambda would be my son. He lost his dad once. I think he would not want to trust anybody else with that parental role. Think. Oh, you know what? This might be one that surprises people. Gladion from Pokemon Sun and Moon. That's #1 son. That's my angry Chuny son. If I didn't already choose Sakura as my daughter, I would just choose to be the new parent to both Gladion and Lilie. The Chuny. Yes, the Chuny. I adore him. I think he's very cute. But this one I feel like surprises people, but I do really like him. Because, like, I was thinking, a lot of characters that I call son are people in, like, their late teens or early 20s, and I feel like that doesn't fully fit the vibe of, like, son. Especially because I chose Sakura, who is, like, actually a child. I felt like I needed to choose a son who was also, like, child range. And of all the kids I could think of, I was thinking about Pokemon rivals, and then my brain went to Gladio and how much I love him, so... That's my son. Waifu. Going back to waifu. I guess Dorothy from Nikkei. Because she is still one of my main favorites. I saw that Mamie also really likes Dorothy, which, good taste. I do love having more Dorothy likers in my presence. He is from Pokemon Sun. So yeah, that's my fucked up little family dynamic. Thank you for the question. Alright, this one. Rappy crying in a corner. I like Rappy, but she's not waifu material. Any food-related channel you would recommend? I've seen a bunch of foodie-related content on YouTube Shorts, but can't really bring myself to commit to one. Oh, man. It depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for mukbang? Are you looking for cooking? Are you just looking for, like, people who travel and then also try a lot of food? It kind of depends on your vibe. Like, what are you wanting out of your food content creator? I have a couple different answers, depending on what you are looking for. So I guess, like, I don't watch a lot of mukbang anymore. I used to, but I really don't watch it that often these days. My recommendeds would not agree with me. I keep getting recommended videos of people eating noodles. Help me. In terms of, like, actual YouTubers that I will, like, watch, like, full videos from mukbang, it's usually only, like, Suyang. She's a Korean mukbanger, but she'll, like, travel to a bunch of different restaurants in Korea and, like, eat pretty much everything on their menu because she has a really big stomach capacity. She also occasionally travels to, like, other countries and will, like, sample other countries' cuisine, and I like that a lot. As somebody who cannot travel. I feel like if you're looking for a content creator that does food content, it's good to see if they, like, mix it with something else, because sometimes just straight food content is not always the most engaging, especially if you're looking to, like, fully commit to a certain creator. If you're looking for cooking with a little bit of comedy, Cannot recommend Future Canoe enough. His whole thing is like acting like an NPC and trying to do these like viral cooking recipes, but he sometimes messes them up on purpose, sometimes it's hard to tell. But he does a lot of comedy with his cooking. But like that would be a good option if you are looking for a little bit of comedy and like deadpan style comedy at that. He relies a lot on like memes and repetitive jokes because that's part of being the NPC persona. But it's still fun to watch, in my opinion. If you're looking for more like classic food YouTube, lots of people like Joshua Weissman. I'm indifferent to his videos, but I will turn them on occasionally if I see it pop up in my sub feed. I feel like his persona has gotten better. One of the things about Joshua Weissman is that he used to come across as a little bit too arrogant to me. Not to throw shade, but I felt like he was a little bit arrogant, but I think that has been toned down considerably in more recent times, so it's been a bit easier to watch him. He still has his moments though. But like he does a good mix of like cooking and then also like showcasing of stuff. He's been doing a lot of fast food and like trying stuff at amusement parks and things recently, if that's your vibe. Speaking of trying things at amusement parks, the Try Guys, they have a show called Eat the Menu with another person who has really big stomach capacity, but he tries literally every single thing on a restaurant's menu. Whether it be fast food or like more sit-down restaurants. He's also gotten the chance to do things at like fancier restaurants and recently has been trying out stuff at parks. He got invited to Epic Studios? Is that what it's called? Epic something? But it's the new Universal Park branch that has like Harry Potter and Dracula and Nintendo World. Like that side of it, like that side of Epic. Oh, they also have How to Train Your Dragon as like a separate world as well. But he got invited to that to like try out all of the food there. If that is also your feel. That one is like eating with guests. He actually tries to give like solid reviews of all the food that he's eating. I dabble all over food too, basically. I guess one of the other benefits of the Try Guys too is that you get like an ensemble cast that will like also react to certain food things. I hope that was enough of an answer. Hopefully you can find something that you like. Okay. And then I think a new Morrow just came in whilst I was answering, so I will go ahead and pull that up. But I think that was all of them. Now that we're on this one. Okay. Of course, Yuno finds straight food unfulfilling. Oi. What did bro mean by this? Oi. Is there some sort of stigma against reading as a hobby nowadays? Like, I know it might be a small sample size, but I've seen it happen twice that a character asked another character, why do you read so much? And the other character went on a long-winded explanation justifying it for practical purposes or for coping with neglect or whatever. Is I like reading a bad thing to say now? Very interesting question. So I think we can argue that this is coming about because a lot of hobbies that the younger generations, I don't want to sound old, but it is kind of true. A lot of the hobbies that younger generations have are more digital, and I feel like they are also just generally reading less. We also, due to the rise of people using AI and things like ChatGPT to get through a lot of their classes, people are also no longer thinking critically or interacting critically with books or like media like that because they have something that can just generate the answers for them and do the thinking for them. So not only are we having people generally reading less, but we're also having people like dismiss books and just follow whatever a chat GPT says about them. People accuse reading of yapping too much nowadays, and it's annoying as heck. Yeah, that's the thing. People think that there's just too much text and they want like more immediate action. And I used to feel a little bit similar. I used to not enjoy books that had a lot of what I call purple prose. Well, purple prose itself is a term, but purple prose means something that goes like really flowery and like uses a lot of really big kind of pretentious words in an attempt to sound more insightful than what it actually is. And I feel like people utilize purple prose in order to make their stories longer. Like, they'd spend a lot of time describing specific things that really didn't have any bearing on the narrative, and it kind of felt like they just did it to fill space. And so it caused people to not like reading that sort of thing as much. But anyway, I think a lot of the problem now is that more and more hobbies are less focused on books. I think there's always been a bit of a stigma against reading as a hobby. Even when I was growing up, there were lots of people who would say that like reading books all the time was for nerds and you should go play outside more or whatever. But I find it interesting that there has been like characters explaining that they read to cope or that they are using it practically. I personally haven't seen that as much. But I do wonder if people want to justify liking reading because it feels like we are at a point now where you can't just say that you like it. People don't really think that that's true anymore. Cough, George R.R. Martin describing curtain designs. Me, anytime a book tries to describe what a character is wearing to me when it has no bearing on the plot because it's not about fashion. I don't need 3 paragraphs describing how your character's putting on a tube top, no offense. That's me. I just feel like... I think that people's attention spans have shrunk a bit too much, and now when people have like a more average attention span and are thus able to read longer books, it sometimes feels like people can't wrap their head around it. I also think that part of the shrinking of attention spans and the reliance on digital hobbies has also reduced people's ability to be imaginative. I think if you're complaining about how much text is in a book, it's because you are not able to immerse yourself within the book's universe. You're not giving yourself the time to read and process what is being written and also to like start imagining things in your head. If you can't immerse yourself into a book's world because you have a sense of imagination and you can like visualize what is being said to you, it's going to make reading books a lot harder. Because the whole point of a book is that you're supposed to be able to get lost in it for the hundreds of pages that it lasts. At least that's how it's supposed to be. Too bad Pizza Hut has lost the 90s magic. My reading was falling way off in 3rd and 4th grade because mom and dad books were too advanced and children's books were all read twice, then Book It happened. Yeah, I was always really good with my required reading too because I was reading way above my grade level. So I was completing the requirements for required reading super quickly because my page counts were crazy high. And then they got to a point where it was like, you know, you keep reading books that are above your reading level, and we just want to ensure that you're actually comprehending what you're reading, so we're going to have you start taking quizzes on the books that you've read. And I would be like, okay. And because I had really good reading comprehension, and I'd also retain what I read for a long period of time, I would also start acing all the quizzes too. So not only was I tryharding just by nature of the quantity, also the quality of my learning that came from reading. I never really cared about the pizza stuff though, because I don't really like pizza all that much as a food. So I'd be like, well, I guess I have pizza for my mom now. But I think I don't believe that I like reading is a bad thing to say. I just think that people don't understand the ones who still read and take pleasure out of reading and learning. I think people have become so accustomed to these digital hobbies, and like because of all of the consumption of digital media, it has caused the brain to kind of go. And so now when they think about reading, they're just like, what? People like that? People enjoy that kind of thing? That's crazy. If I don't enjoy thing, how come other people enjoy thing? Just from my observation.
Okay. Oh, I got another Maro. Okay, let me save it. Pop, 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 pop.
Thank you for all the questions, by the way. Silly or non-silly. I've missed doing Q&A streams. My parents liked it once a month I eat free and they could get a real pizza instead of pepperoni only so the brat will eat it. That's fair. If it works, it works. I never really liked going to Pizza Hut. I think I would only go and eat mozzarella sticks while Onimama would be the one to eat pizza. But I'd eat the cheese. I'd eat the cheese sticks. I'd be like, yay, cheese. I like this better. Okay. If you got stranded on a desert island and could only bring 5 games, what would they be? They had Moz sticks at the hut back when I was a kid. I don't think they do anymore. 5 games. Tales of Symphonia. Lots of replay value on that. All 4 of the other games are going to be Otome. So, Collar X Malice. It has a really, like, in-depth story and, like, plenty of, like, value to get out of the routes. Bustafellows, obviously. Bustafellows Season 2. I'm saving a slot for when the Season 2 comes out so that I can enjoy both games. Hanakare, because I did actually end up really liking it. It's a very, like, light-hearted, and it's also, like, light narratively. So it would be a good, like, palate cleanser. And then, Cubipara. Wait, no, not Cubipara. I think I would choose a different one. Hold on, let me think. I really like Cubipara, but I don't think I would take that one as a island game. Desert island game. I think I would choose... I was gonna say Amnesia. Yeah, I think Amnesia might actually be my pick more than Cubipara. Like, my thought was maybe Cubipara because it's also lighthearted, but I think it's also lighthearted to the point of borderline parody, and I can't always stomach that kind of thing. So if one of my precious game slots was wasted with that, I'd probably suffer. And then I guess also maybe if I wanted to swap out Amnesia, I would maybe swap it out with a Pokemon game, but I'm not sure which Pokemon game. Because I like Pokemon a lot, too. I would want to have at least one Pokemon game. 5 games is actually difficult to limit everything to. But the good thing about, for me at least, about Otome is that they have, like, tons of content. So I would be able to occupy myself for, like, weeks just going through different routes. So that would be my pick. It would also lead to a lot of reading. And if my Switch was my main source of reading, then I would kind of need to be able to stimulate my brain via reading. Thank you for the question. I believe that's everything. Let me double check my folder and make sure I didn't miss any. Going through the messages again. Oh, this one. I forgot about this one too. Whoops. I feel bad I missed some. What would your pro wrestling signature move be? I don't know, dude. Probably something with my Geta where I would, like, crush your chest because my heels are so thick and strong. Some sort of Geta smash. I don't know, dude. I don't know enough about wrestling. Read this one, did this one, this one, did 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 all these. Did that. Did that. Did that. Did that. Did these. Did that. Did that. Did that. Okay. Yeah, now I've done all of them. Yippee! Thank you for all the questions. The Buno Bash, true. You'd get on top of a ladder and spin like a drill, completely smashing Damadachi that awaits at the bottom. Yeah, basically. Something like that. But thank you for the questions. I guess that is it. Because I was planning to only take them from Morrow today. I thought about opening the YouTube Q&A, but I was like, no, the whole point of doing it through Morrow is because it was for people who wanted to send questions anonymously. Anonymous questions. Bit of an early farewell then, I guess, because we are done with our questions. But this is still good. I feel like I got a lot of questions that were thought-provoking and also ones that were silly. Impact finisher, double Geta Sump, submission finisher, the honeymoon, which is just choking them with the wife. Do you have to go? Yes. Since there are no more questions, I must leave. It would also probably be nice to try and attempt to get proper sleep tonight. Maybe. Send her 100 morrows. No! I get buried in the marshmallows. No, please. It's okay. But no, I should probably try and get some attempt at proper rest. But I did appreciate getting to answer questions. Maybe we will do these slightly more often. I think I say that every time, but maybe we will try to do it a little more occasionally. So that we can have more questions once every 2 weeks. I was thinking like maybe at least once a month, because that gives enough time for questions to pile up. Do you take game suggestions? I do. You can send them via Morrow. If you have a game you'd like to offer to me, also you can send a Steam code through there or whatever. But yes, I do take game suggestions. You can send them via Morrow if you think I would like it. I think there are still a few in my Morrows that I've like held on to in case the occasion ever arose. Actually, I do. Yippee! Yeah, you can send them via Morrow and I will check them out. No pressure, of course. I always appreciate the suggestions. I may not always say yes to them, but I am trying to expand my brain a little bit, expand my game repertoire, get better at gaming. To at least attempt. But if I don't play it on stream, there's a chance I might choose to play it off stream also. So we will see. But yeah. I'm going to go ahead and call this stream here. You will see me again Thursday. Thursday afternoon, we will be doing a cereal tier list because I didn't know what else to do on Thursday. And the first thing that was suggested to me was a cereal tier list. So I'll be ranking cereal. Maybe we'll do some other tier lists depending on how long it takes me to get through the cereal. I have a tendency to yap a lot when it comes to voicing my opinion on things, so we might be there for a while doing tier lists, but that should still be fun. We will see what happens. And then we will also have foodie in the evening that day too as well. Will you also be eating cereal? I could. I have Frosted Flakes in the box, and I also have Fruit Loops. But I don't really like Fruit Loops, so I think if anything, I'd probably be eating Frosted Flakes. So maybe I could eat cereal while we do it. Okay. Well, yeah, that is the plan for Thursday.
An offering.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Daniel Smith, thank you for the $4.20 tip. Haha, nice. For the crackers, roasting marrows over the Dama flame. Heck yeah. We are having s'mores made out of the marrows that were sent in today. But that about does it for me. thank you guys so much for choosing to spend time with me. I hope that you have a good rest of your time zone. Oh, was the Fruit Loops gifted if you don't like them? Long story short, Onimama signed up for a few different, like, food programs that would allow for, like, delivery of food and product to the box. And sometimes the food and product involved little boxes of cereal, so they're like 1 serving size of a cereal. And we just have a bunch left over because Onimama also doesn't like Fruit Loops. So we have boxes of Fruit Loops that never got touched. And like a ton of Frosted Flakes, because she was mostly only eating the Frosted Flakes. Throw them out? Yeah, the Fruit Loops are probably not worth keeping. The Frosted Flakes are still good, though.
I like Frosted Flakes.
But I am probably going to throw out the Fruit Loops, because I'm never going to eat them. I've thrown out a lot of the stuff from those orders that I'm probably never going to eat. Send them to a food bank or shelter? Maybe. I have to see if they are stale. I'd feel bad donating food that was stale or spoiled. I'll have to check the labels. I haven't checked them in a hot minute because I don't usually reach for cereal. They're probably expired. Honestly, now that I think about it, you're probably right. Because I've had those for a while. Maybe they will all have to be tossed. Oh well, I guess it means I have to buy a fresh box of Frosted Flakes for the stream on Thursday. There are worse things in life. Okay, but anyway, for real. Thank you guys so much for choosing to spend time with me. I hope that you have a good rest of your time zone. And until I see you again, Yunotsu!